In today's video, we're diving deep into the Spider-Man film that started it all back in 2002. But this time, we're not looking at the movie we're exploring the concepts that never made it to the big screen. From alternate character designs to ideas that were ultimately scrapped, these concept arts give us a fascinating look at what Spider-Man could have been. Let's uncover the hidden visions behind Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. The classic Spidey villain Dr. Otto Octavius, better known as Dr. Octopus, dangles J. Jonah Jameson outside the Daily Bugle offices in the first image artist Will Foes produced for Neil Spizak's design department. When this artwork was executed, Dr. Octopus was being written out of the Spider-Man script, but Sam Raimi was so impressed by Foes' tableau that it earned Octavius another 3 months of creative life before the character was finally dropped and the production settled on the Goblin as sole antagonist. The challenge for costume designer Josh Atchison's department was to create a Spider-Man costume that portrayed both musculature and the character's acrobatic athleticism. While many of costume concept artist Warren Manser's images pictured Spidey in dynamic movements, this series of static poses began working out the location of the muscle enhancements that would be further developed and incorporated into the final suit. These images were based on photographs Atchison had taken of Tobey Maguire soon after the actor was cast, with Manser scanning in the Maguire photographs, as well as separate pencil drawings he'd made over the photos, which added the proportions of a padded suit. The web shooters were initially considered, but Raimi, the director, decided to make them organic. An idea that actually didn't come from him, but from James Cameron, who had written a draft for the film he was originally going to direct, where he proposed the concept of the webs being one of Spider-Man's own powers. Atchison was surprised that, unlike the heightened atmosphere and stylized look of Gotham City of the Batman movies, Spider-Man was set squarely in modern Manhattan. Therefore, our early pitch was to modernize Spider-Man, Atchison explained. Artist David Williams created a redesign of the suit, later stylized by artist Alex Ross, but it was ultimately discarded. Years later, this look would be used in the Superior Spider-Man comic. The Goblin proved a difficult character to adapt to live action. One of the concept artists in James Atchison's costume department who wrestled with that challenge was Bernie Wrightson, a comic book artist and illustrator. Artist Miles Teves takes on the Goblin face ranged from a ghoulish countenance to an overlay of circuitry inspired by Norman Osborn's high-tech background. Artist James Lima's Goblin concepts range from rough sketch to polished final drawing. Note the circuitry theme that pervades the designs. Some of the designs seem to suggest that, at first, the mask wasn't intended to be static or a helmet, although the suit itself does appear to have been considered as having an armored look from the very beginning. An animatronic mask was even designed with a look strongly faithful to the original comics, but it was discarded because it was thought to be too frightening for children. As the ideas and designs progressed toward the mask we all know today, it seems that at first there was an attempt to stay even more faithful to the comic book design, keeping a portion of the helmet with a clearly visible purple color. In the comics he was more of a Halloween goblin. But we began considering what devices and costumes a wealthy arms manufacturer would use to commit his evil deeds. Is his costume purely aesthetic, or totally touch it out? Another contributor of ideas for the film was illustrator Alex Ross, who designed a terrifying look for the Green Goblin, reminiscent of the classic appearance but with a slightly medieval touch and featuring a sort of flying motorcycle. Several concepts were considered for the glider, ranging from some that stayed closer to the comic book design, to more experimental ones, and even some that strayed quite far from the original look. One of them even resembles the one used by the villain Jack-o'-lantern. In the unused concepts for the film, we can also find the Goblinettes, apparently henchmen of the Green Goblin. This idea was taken from the comic Spider-Man, Legacy of Evil. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, leave a like and comment on which movie you'd like me to cover next.